in our best uniforms with our shoes and everything sparkling.
All right, so the president making his arrival to the stadium. We were earlier talking about this arrival, and that even from a distance you were able to tell us, oh no, that is not the president coming all the way from that, because you were looking out for certain signals. And then we see the signal here. He is in the company of military personnel riding horses.
These are police officers. Okay. This is the police mounted personality here.
The President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, stepping out of his vehicle, and there he is, adorned in white shirt. Last year in Tamale, he wore a white shirt with a beautiful design of the Ghana flag embossed on the left side of his chest. When our cameras pick him, we will be able to see for ourselves what, and so very similar to what he had done last year. Predominant are colors of Ghana, and then a design of the kente as well. And you were telling us about the kente colors and how beautiful and significant the messages these colors mean.
I was telling you a particular symbol within the kente, which is often used at the edge of the kente cloth, and this is called apremo. And this apremo.
All right, so we have the national salute right now.
Kumasi 2020. Kumasi 2020. Kumasi 2020. President of our Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Right! Go! Dead! The national pledge. Up! I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my strength and with all my heart. I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage won for us through the blood and toil of others. I pledge myself in all things to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana. So help me God. Up! Right! Stand at east!
May we please be seated? We shall now continue with the Muslim prayers led by the acting Chief Imam of the Ghana Armed Forces and Imam Al-Hajj Abdul Mumin Haru, the Ashanti Regional Chief Imam.
Ashanti Regional Chief Imam will now say the opening prayer, the Islamic way, Again, another symbol of the unity in diversity among Ghanaians. When Muslims, Christians, or traditionalists meet, it doesn't really matter. Any of them can say the prayers at any point in time. Sheikh Abdul Mumin is, yes.
So like you were saying, we'll first have the traditional prayer, and then we'll move to the Muslim prayer, and then the Christian prayer.
Right.
And that is very, very important and good for Ghana as a nation. In some countries, people are so intolerant that they cannot accept each other's faith. But we are lucky as a people. And so we need to use some of these petty things to build our unity as a people.
I have seen families in which you find 3 siblings, one being a traditionalist, the other being a Muslim, and the third being a Christian, and it doesn't really matter.
نعوذ بك من الطاعون والوباء كورونا فيروس اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من الطاعون والوباء كورونا فيروس برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Great things He has done. Greater things He will do. Unto the Lord be the glory. Great things He has done. Almighty God, creator of nations and peoples of the earth, we thank you for giving us this good land, Ghana, for our heritage. We humbly beseech you that we may always prove ourselves a people mindful of your favor and glad to do your will. Bless our land with honorable industry, sound learning, and pure manners. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from every evil way. Defend our liberties and fashion into one united people, the multitudes brought here out of many kindreds and tongues. Look, O Lord, in mercy we pray you, upon this our noble country Ghana. Send out your light and truth, that they may lead us into paths of fellowship and peace. Break down all barriers of contention and strife, and grant that we may live together in brotherly unity and concord. Endue with a spirit of wisdom and protection those to whom in your name we entrust the governance of this country, especially His Excellency Nana Addo, the President of the Republic, the Vice President, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, members of Parliament, the Judiciary, and Nananum, so that there may be justice and peace at home, and that through obedience to your law we may show forth your praise among the nations of the earth. In time of prosperity, fill our hearts with thankfulness, and in the day of trouble, suffer not our trust in you to fail. Our Heavenly Father, today marks the 63rd anniversary of Ghana's independence, and so we have met here to celebrate this national event. We pray that the Holy Spirit will preside at these activities of the day so that we achieve grand success. At the end of it all, we will have every cause to praise your holy name. All these we ask through the might of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Parade! Parade! Shin! Good morning, Mr. President. The 63rd Independence Anniversary Parade formed up by the Ghana Armed Forces, other security services, and the Ghana Education Service. 67 officers, 660 men and women drawn from the Ghana Army, the Ghana Navy, the Ghana Air Force, the Ghana Police Service, Ghana Prisons Service, Ghana National Fire Service, Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Immigration Service, and the Ghana National Ambulance Service. 442 teachers, students, and pupils drawn from the schools within the metropolis, with a mass band by the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service. Ready for inspection. Group Captain Nana Edujemfi reporting. Mr. President.
In the last few years, the president, together with the CDS and the Inspector General of Police, I beg your pardon, will now inspect the parade.
Yes, and the Chief of the Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Obed Boama Akwa, the CDS, and the Inspector General of Police, Mr. James Opombuenu, are his ceremonial aide-de-camp. That is like personal assistant to him, because they are in charge of both internal security and external defense.
So, do you remember ever taking part in one of these occasions? And I'm just recalling having to stand there and wait for the president to drive past you. It was a feeling that cannot be described. I don't know if you have had a similar experience.
I never had the experience of actually being there or being part of it, because somehow I never made the cut during the rehearsals, so I couldn't make it there. But it was always exciting to watch from home and to sit behind the television and hear my father take us through the history every time it had to happen. Very exciting for children.
Teacher Kantanka, I'm sure you have seen quite a few of these occasions.
I remember the occasion very well. During the days of Nkrumah, students were lined up on the roadside, and I was always very happy to be amongst them. So holding our flags and waving when the president passes.
You actually had the honor of seeing the Osajifo himself. And what did it feel like standing there and seeing the man, Osajifo, inspect a parade that you were very much a part of?
Yes, because you have been brought up to believe that he's the first gentleman of the land. And to see the first gentleman of the land, you become a bit very, very happy in your life. You write a story about yourself, one page in your life. that you have seen the president.
That's right. And Commander, you was telling us about the inspection of the parade. The president, of course, is doing that in the company of his ceremonial AD camps, the IGP and the CDS.
Yes. And then we also have the Forces Sergeant Major. He's in the second vehicle, and he's the person of Chief Warrant Officer Baka Ramos. He's a most senior other rank in the Ghana Armed Forces. He's the most senior of all. Yes.
Okay. And so now we see the president actually inspecting the parade.
Yeah.
What is he looking?
It's purely ceremonial. It's purely ceremonial. And like you all shared, I'm sure if you're on parade and you saw the president drive past so close, you'll be excited.
True.
So it's purely ceremonial. But in the units, it's for other reasons. It's meant to check your turnout from head to toe. And also, parade in general are meant to test your endurance, because it's physically tasking to stand in for hours non-stop. But this inspection is purely ceremonial.
And have you had the privilege of
yes.
being inspected by a president before?
Yes, I have. I think this was in 2001. I was a contingent commander, and it was, in fact, the excitement is beyond description. And then when Ghana...
and Commander, this is what I have been waiting for. I mean, okay, so the president has driven past the security agencies. Now you see him driving past in front of some very young school children and students. And this is what I was asking Selikem and Teacher Kantanka about. The feeling that many of these students will take home simply cannot be described by words. For many of them, this is it. And they have been rehearsing for weeks just for this particular occasion.
And I'm sure this may be the closest a child will come to seeing the president his entire life.
And that's
so
one
it's
of the
very, very special.
It's one of the significance of decentralizing the national parade, the national celebration of occasions such as these, the Independence Day of Ghana. This is the 63rd Independence Parade, and if you just joined us, this is GTV. I'm in commentary position with my colleague Selikem Akolache Apalu. Okay, so we are getting ready for the lighting of the perpetual flame.
Symbol of the spirit of independence. It reminds us of our responsibility to keep the spirit of nationalism alive. The Senator of Guards are commanded by Warrant Officer Class 2 Agbashi Sally Evelyn. The Ghana Army Guard is Sergeant Osaimen St. Joseph Oheme. The Ghana Navy Guard is Petty Officer Class 2 Ashia Paul. The Ghana Air Force Guard is Sergeant Abeyen Otnil. The Police Guard is Sergeant Ibrahim Nazar.
All right, so the lighting of the perpetual flame, it's one of the very significant ceremonies here.
Exactly. And the lighting of the perpetual flame is a symbol of the spirit of independence. It's also meant to awaken our spirit as individuals and as Ghanaians to uphold patriotism, nationalism. Anything that you do that does not promote the welfare of Ghana would have to desist from it and uphold only things that will move Ghana forward as a country.
And there we have it, the perpetual flame. And there is the playing of a sound I'm very familiar with, to have been coming from the military. And there we have it. The president has lighted the perpetual flame. And that's...
It's meant to rekindle the flame that individuals need as Ghanaians to ensure that they do the right thing so that our nation Ghana can move forward. So we need to be constantly reminded. And
the crowd here going ecstatic. They simply cannot control their excitement to be a part of this. For many of these people, this is the first time.
And in your shot now, we have the Air Force towing the Ghana flag as the perpetual flame is lighted. You know, the flag is a spirit of Ghana. When you go anywhere, you are holding the flag. You don't have to introduce yourself. You tell everybody where you are from. So just as the perpetual flame is lighted, the flag is to remind us of our commitment to Mother Ghana, to ensure that we progress as a people.
Everybody else is seeing the beauty of what has just happened. I am looking at the hard work behind the scenes that made this happen. It would have taken a lot of practice, a lot of rehearsal, and the timing was so perfect that as soon as the perpetual flame was lighted, the chopper with the Ghana flag just showed up in the air, waving the Ghana flag around. It's a sight to behold. The hard work, precision.
Exactly. And rehearsal is the only way you can get it right.
If you're watching us from wherever you are not at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium right now, just over our heads at the moment, we can feel the vibration of the chopper as it flies over our heads from the position where we are bringing you commentary. You need to be here right now to have a feel of the excitement here. Our cameras will try to bring you all the reactions from the stands like we're doing now, but the emotions, you simply have to be here to feel it. Ashanti region, Kumasi is blessed to have this ceremony come to them, and you can see it for yourselves. Everyone is excited here.
And as we celebrate and are excited, we should not forget that we need to keep our spirits of nationalism alive. Sometimes when you're walking through town, you wonder whether we really love our nation. Filth has engulfed us, and so we need to remind ourselves, anything that draws us back, we have to desist from it.
And now that the perpetual flame has been lighted, but there are other activities that the president will be engaging in. The ceremony will continue from here. Selikim, are we able to let our audience know exactly what's coming up from here, and then we'll prepare them for it as we proceed with the coverage?
As we're going to see the security services continue. Some selected groups, including representatives of all the 16 regions, if you're updated, 16 regions now, and of course the Nation Builders Corps, forestation groups, and other banners. We are also going to see the march passed by the veterans as the Veterans Administration Ghana. We'll see a cultural display, gymnastics by the Ghana Armed Forces, physical training school. It
is important, Selikem, to talk about the Veterans Administration Ghana and the members. This is a group that was formed following the riots in 1948, the Crossroads shooting in 1948 that got 3 soldiers who had returned from the Second World War, who had gone there to fight. They returned, and the compensation that was due them was not given to them. And when they were going to the castle to demand for these compensations, 3 of them were killed on the spot. We are made to understand that a lot more of them died later from wounds they received on that occasion. We have Teacher Kantanka here. When the time permits us, we will allow Teacher to give us a bit of that history. She just talked about the fact that, and we'll be seeing them pretty shortly, the veterans who returned from the war, 1948. Largely, it is believed that it was that single incident that sparked off the true attainment of independence and got Osajifo and J.B. Dankwa and everybody else who had a hand in Ghana's attainment of independence at the time to wake up and begin to actually push for the final shot to be given.
Yeah, that is very true. What happened after they had been shot, and 23 of them were also severely wounded, and this sparked general looting and misunderstanding everywhere. So this actually made the government of that day, that is the British government, understand that there's something heavier coming from the sky, so that they have to prepare. And this again made the civilians also engage in a lot of demonstrations.
We'll get back to that as we proceed with coverage of this event. But Commander, you tell us. So now we're about to see what's the next thing? Telecom, you have all the details about the program, and then we'll proceed from there. We currently find pleasantries being exchanged by some of the high-profile dignitaries who are here. Of course, the president paying some courtesies to Otumfor, the Speaker of Parliament, and the other invited guests who are here. And we have already informed you, seated to the right side of the president, standing there right now, is the guest of honor for the 63rd Independence Day. Some very nostalgic memories and feelings. So many of these, another 50 years to come, 60 years to come, will be recounting the day they were part of this event.
Let me take this opportunity to explain the kind of kente that the president has on his
right. Yes.
That kente tells a lot of history. It is called Ohene Afrosheng. That was made to commemorate the occasion when the king of Ashanti was exiled. British came to this Kumasi and arrested him and took him to the Seychelles Island. And the people who were weaving at that time, the weavers at that time from Bonyure, decided to commemorate the occasion by weaving a type of kente called Ohene Afrosheng. And that is what the president has around his neck.
All right, beautiful one. And when the president comes back on our screens, we will certainly let you explain again so that our viewers. And there he is. That's the president taking the salute. And so these are the colors you were explaining to us.
That is, we have a type of design which we call a zigzag. Which means that I am general, I'm ubiquitous, I'm hardworking.
Wow. And so, last year in Tamale, we were told that even the way you wear a hat with a smoke gives out a certain message. It's the same with the kente, the colors you wear and the designs on. And so if I am not aware of the meaning of some design and I wear it to a certain public space and give the wrong message, what can be the repercussions on me?
Well, people there who understand the meaning might approach you and maybe give you a new cloth to wear. If you are wearing a whole piece of cloth, you will be giving another to wear.
All right. We'll come to the traditional bit in a short while. We'll now turn our attention to the students who have been drawn from, this is the T.I. Ahmadiyya Senior High School, my school, and Opokuwari Senior High School. Forgive my bias, I simply cannot. And Flying Officer Anas is very much a part of this as well. I'm also an old student of Amas. This is the Opokuwari Senior High School in their traditional yellow and sea blue colors. It's beautiful, and the lines are meticulously straight. These students have been practicing for a while, I can tell.
And at this point, you can't afford to miss. You would have to fall in line because it is a time where you finally get to showcase all the practice and all the hard work that has gone into this. And as they march, then you'll be giving credit to schools and how they're doing and their performance as they are coming through.
The Sankofa Senior High School there in your shot, and they are in their white and pink.
Baby pink.
That's nice. Oh.
And they're being led by their teachers who have been taking them through the rigorous training, and you can see.
And I'm told that in many schools, to select a teacher who will lead these students in this kind of ceremony, sometimes the competition is tough. It can be very keen just to decide which of the teachers, because even for teachers, this is not a small matter, as we say in Ghana.
And the President, His Excellency, will be standing through as he receives all these students marching past. T.I. Ahmadiyya Senior High School, again, once in your short. And their lines are straight.
Our lines,
JHS is also marching through.
Their lines have always
that
been
is the
straight.
St. Luanga JHS being led by a female teacher. It's important to emphasize in these times of talking about gender equality, when we see women playing their role.
And do you see the feet of the students? It's in unison. None of them missing their steps. And these are basic schools. A while ago we saw the basic schools. We were so
senior high school.
What's instructive is that all the schools that are marching here were assembled from the Kumasi metropolis and surrounding areas, and it's homegrown. Kumasi beyond age, so to speak. This is beautiful. And so on occasions such as this, it's the mass band that is providing the background music to which the march past is taking place. Commander, you may want to tell us what goes into selecting the songs. I realize many of the songs, how do you select them?
Well, the session is done and his personnel. But basically, we normally play martial music or patriotic songs. You know, on this day, we need to whip up that spirit of nationalism. And so it's basically patriotic songs and martial music that is played. And that is normally the responsibility of the band officer. So he does that in conjunction with his lieutenants. Yeah.
All right.
The Nyame basic school.
Yes,
just
a while ago, yes.
Okay, so this is not my fault, but again, my school.
But this time they are paying compliments, so you can see
this is
to the right.
This is a junior high school,
okay.
And they have turned to the right.
Yes, to pay compliments.
So, and at some point, the leader shouts, "Eyes right," and you can't miss it. You can't get it wrong when they say "eyes right." The eyes must turn to the right at the same time.
Yes.
Interesting. And so, who does the training of these children
and that
and the
is
students?
Prempeh College primary school, just marching past there. So much effort put into the preparation of this one event, historic event, a big day for people in Kumasi, a very big day for people in the Ashanti region, and a historic one, of course, because it's now 16 regions. If it's going to go around, you don't know when it will come back to your turn again. So yes, the preparations that were put into this were really done meticulously.
And so the pupils and the students, when they march off, they would go and take their seats. You know, over the years, when we keep them there for too long, a lot of them fall off. Some of them are so anxious. I believe they don't even eat at home. And so for this year, we're allowing them, once they march off, you go and take their seats. And that is when the Ghana Armed Forces and the other security services will march on to continue with the rest of the parade. That's Good Shepherd RC Junior High School. And I cannot stress enough that as we put in so much effort for today, we should always remember that in everything we do, Ghana must come first. That is Odumasi Experimental Junior High. these are physically challenged persons, students who were not left out of the fund.